So I'm lost. I did see something really interesting this week that. Did we do judicial review? We did that. Supremacy clause. We do the ladder of laws.
No.
Okay. Ladder. Hard to draw this like this. Okay, just imagine that's a ladder. Yeah, this is crap. All right, the top rung in our ladder of laws is the Constitution. Below that is federal law. Below that is state law. Below that is local law. Local law cannot supersede or go against state law. State law can't go against federal law. Federal law cannot contradict the Constitution. This is the supreme law of the land. Nothing can go against it. Did I explain supreme to y'all? What supreme means in Spanish?
Sour cream.
Sour cream, good. Good. If you really want to say it right, it's El Supremo. And if you want to say it in French, it would be El Supreme. That's how you say it in French. I took 3.5 years of French, so I know all the French stuff. Let's see. Judicial review. Did we do a writ of cert? All right, good. Standing. All right, writ of cert. Let's talk about the Supreme Court. I'm going to tell you how the Supreme Court works. Supreme Court meets, their first date to meet is the first Monday in October. I know that I learned that when I was a sophomore in high school because there was a movie called First Monday in October. I never went to see it. It was about a fictional female Supreme Court justice, and later that year, Sandra Day O'Connor became the first female Supreme Court justice. She is in the National Cowgirl Hall of Fame in Fort Worth, so she's a real person. Right? They meet the first Monday of October. They meet in 2 week. They go through 2 week cycles. For 2 weeks, they decide cases. No, scratch that. They hear cases on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. On Tuesday and Thursday, on Thursday and Friday, they study and they write opinions. They get about 10,000 requests a year to look at cases. And they actually decide about 100 of them. And that, I mean, if you met every day, it'd be hard to do more than that. When they hear a case, right, the Supreme Court, we do like the Supreme Court is like the grand jury?
Yes.
We did that. Okay, so the Supreme Court does not look at the case. They don't care who did it and who didn't do it, or what crime was committed. They care about the Constitution. So that's all they look at. They're just looking at this part of, okay, in a football game, the replay official is not watching the whole game. He's watching this particular play. Same thing with the Supreme Court. They're not looking at the whole case. They're looking at this particular thing and if it was done right. So they hear 2 cases a day. And those lawyers have 30 minutes to talk. Because they're not trying the whole case and just look at this specific deal. There is a red light. And there is a a white light. The white light means you got 5 minutes to talk. The red light means stop. So it doesn't take long to hear these cases. There is a something called a per curiam decision. Now, writ of cert. I did all this to get to writ of cert. Forget the per curiam. A writ of cert is actually a writ of certiorari. But I will never say certiorari again in here. It's just a writ of cert. It's where the Supreme Court asks the lower court, what's a lower court?
The district court.
Anything that's not the Supreme Court is a lower court. So they ask the lower court to send us the case. What they mean by that is all the documents, all the paperwork, the little thing the person types. You ever seen that person, the little thing? Court reporter, it's like 9 buttons and they type everything using that. It's a good job. Pretty stressful, I would think. You can't miss anything. If a per curiam decision is when they just make the decision off the paperwork, where they don't have the lawyers come talk. That's how most cases are decided, from just them looking at the paperwork, because they're Supreme Court justices. They don't have to be explained. Okay, Mr. Justice, here is where the person, that kind of stuff. So writ of cert, that's how most cases get to the Supreme Court. Per curiam is how most cases are decided, just on the paperwork. Got 30 minutes to talk. So this 2 weeks, they'll hear cases. The next 2 weeks, they spend discussing the cases, deciding the cases, and writing the opinions. They don't sit down and argue. They don't try to persuade each other to think a certain way. Can I do this? Okay. They'll sit around and one person will say, well, here's what I think. And the next person will say, well, here's what I think. And they just state what they feel and then they vote. They don't argue with each other. I could not be in that room because I can't let people be wrong. Well, how can I sit here and let you be wrong? I have to explain why you're wrong and why. Let me explain to you because I don't think you understand really. I can't sit there and just let it happen. Now the opinions of the court, that's what their decisions are called, the opinions. There's 9 justices. Did we do the rule of 4 yesterday? 4 of the 9 justices have to say, yeah, let's hear this case. Less than the majority says, yeah, let's look at this case. Now, there's no guarantee they'll make a decision, but they at least might hear your case. It could be 9-0. It could be 8-1, 7-2, 6-3, 5-4. This over here is the majority. This is the dissent. If you have disagreement in the room, there's dissent in the room. So you have the majority side and the disagreeing side. One of these people from the majority, say it's 7-2, one of these people is going to be picked to write the majority opinion. And they explain why we went this way, why we voted this way. And they use examples from the Constitution. They use specific examples from different amendments, from different parts of the Constitution. They can't just say, because you said so. They have to use the Constitution, because that's all they're worried about. There is also a dissenting opinion. Can you guess what that would be? It's the same thing. One of these people is picked to write a dissenting opinion, which explains why they voted that way using the Constitution. What are these used for? It sets precedent for other cases. Lawyers will study these. You go to law school and you study these things to use in your cases. The majority opinion is something you would base your case on. Well, in '76, the Lawrence versus Fishbaum said that, You'd use that as your argument because it was the majority opinion of an 8-to-1 majority. Would you want to use a dissenting opinion in your arguments? Could you use a dissenting opinion? Would you want to make that the central argument that you got? No. But it's still an opinion of a Supreme Court justice. So it has some merit. All right. All right, the Solicitor General. I didn't know who this person was until September 11th, because the Solicitor General's wife was a reporter for a news agency, and hers was one of the first phone calls that they aired. She was on the plane going into the Pentagon, and I didn't. Anyway, the Solicitor General is America's lead prosecutor. What's a prosecutor? Yeah, they bring the charges. So in federal court, the Solicitor General is our lead prosecuting attorney. They do a lot of cases before the Supreme Court. Not before the Supreme Court, but yeah. The Attorney General, there's Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, you laugh at me? Deputy Attorney General, but the top government lawyer is in virtually all cases before the Supreme Court in which the government plays a part is the Solicitor General. So they're the actual lawyer. Is that funny? All right. Oh, good. Amicus curiae. Y'all, all these words I'm telling you, what kind of language are they? Latin. You go to law school, go to medical school. Oh. So, what? Get something good? It's good for you. I've never seen him come here. I've never seen that. I used to do the same thing.
He always does.
I would walk by, because Dee Murphy was in Coach Borland's class, the one who I named my kids after. So I'd always go by her class all the time. And sometimes in the middle of French class, I'd just go over to Coach Borland's class and hang out with Coach Borland. Because I like Coach Borland, but also Dee Murphy was in there. I just come walk by. Because I was Cool Breeze by that time. I wasn't Larthan anymore. I was Cool Breeze. So Cool Breeze could kind of
Cool Breeze.
Cool Breeze.
They
Yeah.
call you Cool Breeze?
If you've been Larthan for 7 years, and all of a sudden people calling you Cool Breeze, isn't that way better? Cool Breeze? No, like Cool Breeze. Like, I guess I was like a Cool Breeze, hello, that Cool Breeze. That was way better than Larthan.
Yeah.
That's way better. I'll take that one. But all this Latin stuff. Amicus curiae. I'm sure I misspelled that. But this word right here, even if I don't tell you what it is, you can figure it out. Because y'all have had Spanish. And even if you never had Spanish, you know this word. Hey, do you know a word that's kind of like amicus? I mean. Not English. Think of Spanish. Amigo. What? Ago. Amigo. What's amigo mean? Friend. Ami in French is friend. French, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish. There's one more I'm forgetting. Those are all based in Latin. So if you learn one of these languages, you can learn the others. So this means friend. And amicus curiae means friend of the court. A kid that gave me the flag, he was in the Air Force. And he was stationed in South Dakota. And he wrote me a letter, said, Coach Ryle, said my platoon was ordered by our general, or whatever, by our leader guy, to go to the storeroom and get some stuff. We went in there, the MPs got us and arrested us for stealing. And he was going to court-martial. He was in trouble. Said, could you write like a character reference? Write some stuff up about me that you know, tell them what you know about me, and maybe that'll help me in my case. Like, sure. So I sent this little letter to the court. I was not involved in the case, but I had information for the court that could help them. That's what amicus curiae briefs are. It's information from an outside source, a friend of the court that could help the court make their decision. So, there you go, friend of the court. At least learn that. You know what? Bless you. Sneezes are funny. Briefs. Tiny little underwear. Okay. What do lawyers carry? Briefcase. Briefs are all the court notes, the documents that lawyers are using in their arguments. Those are the briefs. It's not underwear. Could be underwear. That, pen, oral argument. I didn't do concurring opinions, did I? I did majority and dissenting. There's also concurring opinions. You say it's 7-2. Somebody writes the majority, and somebody writes the dissenting. If I'm one of these guys and there's something I really feel passionate about, I might add a concurring opinion. What's concur mean?
Happening at the same time.
Yeah, or I agree with you. I concur with you. I would add a concurring opinion in there stating my stuff, and they might staple it to the back of the majority. Okay, I don't know if they staple it, but how many of y'all think that tall senior guy is going to walk back here again today before class is over? I don't think so. I don't think so. Is there a chance? I bet there's a 35% chance he will, though. Sounds like
No.
Sure.
Hey, look, Christy, look, she's not doing that. Christy,
She always does.
You don't walk by on here on purpose just so you can look at me. That's not true at all. You do what you can to avoid me, right? I don't avoid you. Right? I would go to Walmart though, just to go to Walmart when she worked there. Even when we was married, I'd just go there to, right? And you just, right? When did you get the mad at me at Walmart when we were married? Yeah, it was hot, middle of summer, a little cold. I had a little cold all summer, so I'd bring him up there just to see her, and she would get upset because he'd have like a jersey and a diaper. And she'd go, but it's so hot. Why would I want to, bundle him up with stuff? What gross.
Jersey and a diaper.
Yeah, it was dirty. Before Colt was born, at Walmart, the Decatur Walmart, we looked at the baby section, and there was a Brett Favre baby jersey in Decatur, Texas. Why was that jersey there? Why? Because God said, make a Packer jersey for little Colt, right? Remember we were there? There it is. That's it. You know, that wasn't divine intervention there. Yes, God said, Colt needs a Packers jersey, and he had it. He wore that every day. Every day we come to Walmart, he had that Packer jersey, and he didn't, and he didn't sweat because all he had. Yes, his first picture in. What was hideous? Right. But he had a jersey. My little boy had a jersey on, Christy. He was a pig monkey. I can't find that picture. He is gross because his hair is just like. Wasn't he? Yeah. Since you said her kid was gross. Ah, yeah. All right. All right. A class. What happened?
The other day, we were like, Miss Route, on the way back from the football game, we passed Chili's, and we're like, Miss Route, you owe us Chili's, we need to go to Chili's. And she goes, did you say you're a little chilly?
She thinks she's funny.
I was standing here.
If she
thought we said we were chilly and said we wanted to go to
She's
Chili's.
old. You know how she laughs?
Huh?
This is her laughing.
That's a laugh. I might say the funniest thing ever.
She laughs at me all the time.
Yeah, me
You
too.
know, we should laugh at y'all. We won't laugh at me. I died one time. We had every 15 minutes, y'all heard of that? Where somebody dies, like in a drunk driving accident, they come grab people out of the room and they take them off somewhere and you come back and have an assembly. I was the last one. And you know, they announced it over the school that Jonathan Rollins died and all this obituary stuff. And anyway, we go off, we're supposed to write letters. So I wrote a little letter to Colt and Pacer and little Christy after I've died. Write a note to them. And we come to the assembly and we read those for the whole assembly. What's that?
That's sad.
Well, that's kind of the point. Just so, hey, just don't go get trashed. You don't need, it ain't worth it. Well, I read the letter, because we got killed by a drunk driver. So I read a note to Colt. I read the note to little Pacer. And then get to little Christy. And I start losing it. And I'm reading it, and I'm losing it, and reading it, and losing it. And after it's over, Mr. Foster comes up and just hugs me and is crying. And little Christy comes up and she goes, there's nothing else I cannot go farther than what I have just died. And you know, golly. Yeah, Mr. Foster just falling, just falling all over me. Oh, thanks, Christy. Appreciate that. Anyway, I love you too. Class action lawsuit would be like if, I don't know, I ate something, or I bought something, and it did something horrible to me. Well, you go, well, it did to me too, and it did to me too. And then we all get together and a whole group of us sue this company. That's a class action lawsuit. You always see if you or your loved one has mesothelioma, they talk about, that's a class action lawsuit. Makers of Roundup, I use Roundup all the time. Sure, I'm gonna die of something though. Everybody dies of something. I just don't have weeds in my yard or weeds in my driveway. I'm gonna look good. All right, I guess that's good enough. Way to go. Thanks a lot. Haley, you're in charge of noting if somebody walks by, okay? Blossoming stage. I made that up, didn't I? That's pretty good, wasn't it?